every year I love to choose a word of the year as like a guiding compass or a North Star for all the decisions that I make in my life. First of all, I just want to apologize for my voice. I'm really not feeling very well, but I really wanted to film this video. I created a word of the year video last year, which I will link as well because there's lots of great information in that video, and it did so well on my channel. So I really wanted to film this one for you and take you through the process of how I choose my word of the year, how you can choose your word of the year and your own mantra, which is a new thing that I've added in, your mantra for the year, and how you can allocate this to all the areas of your life. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Kim. I help therapists in private practice with their business systems and processes, getting them confident with admin and reducing tech overwhelm. But as I also have my membership Goal Getters, I have also been tapping into more of the mindset around running business and how you can use certain things to achieve your goals, whatever they are. And so I wanted to offer this as a workshop to the members of my Goal Getters community. And what I am going to be doing in this video is giving you the recording of like my parts of the workshop, so that you can do it yourself, so you can pause the video and actually do the reflection questions and get all of the information from the workshop. But obviously I'm taking out anything to do with the members, so you won't see the members, it'll just be me, and you'll need to just pause the video to answer the questions in your own time, and then you can unpause and it will just magically go to the next question. So it's going to be all in your own time. There's going to be no deadline for this. We had an hour to do the workshop and we definitely couldn't get through the whole thing, but we also were chatting in it as well. So get yourself your favorite beverage and just take your time to actually go through this video as it was meant, which is for you to do your journaling and for you to reflect on 2025 and what you want for 2026. And you will, at the end of the video, have a word of the year, you'll have a mantra, and you'll also know how to apply that to all the different areas of your life. So I have broken my life down into 8 key areas, and I have actually created a template which I'm going to give you for free. So I'm going to put a QR code on the screen and you'll be able to download this template so that you can fill it in for yourself. But I've broken that down into 8 key areas, which are your business, your family, self-love, spirituality, your relationship or partnership, friends, health and fitness, and home. So what you want to do is you want to find a word of the year, create your mantra, and then what you want to do is apply that word of the year to all of these different areas. So for example, my word for 2026 is courage, and my mantra for that is feel the fear but do it anyway. So what I'm going to take you through is an exercise of how to find your word of the year and then how you can apply it to these 8 areas of your life. Now with the template I'm going to give you, you can edit that. So if you want to change your areas of life, if you want to add them in or you want to take some away or just rename them, you can absolutely do that. You don't need to necessarily use the 8 areas of the life that I have picked. This is very personal exercise. But then we're going to use AI. So my preferred one is ChatGPT, but whichever one you use, to be able to help you embody this word in all the areas of your life. So we're going to jump straight into the workshop now. Please, like I said, get yourself a drink, sit somewhere comfortable, and go through the workshop as it was intended. And I would love by the end of this video for you to comment your word of the year and your mantra in the comments below. And I would look forward to reading all of those. Okay, so pasted the template for you so that you can print it off or you can do it on Canva. I like writing my stuff down. I feel like more connected when I actually write rather than typing stuff up, but each to their own. And then on the second page, there's just a list of words. You don't really need them, but sometimes it just helps to kind of have words in front of us to kind of bring things to us if we can't kind of think of it. So the structure of today's meeting, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so we're doing word of the year, magic, find your North Star for 2026. So the first part of it, we're all going to do it kind of in silence, because I don't want you to be clouded by other people talking about like their stuff. I really want it to be personal and about you. So the first part of this is like, we're going to choose our word together. Okay. So this is the template that I have given you. And what I do when I do my word of the year, because you can pick a word of the year, but I really feel like you need to connect it to all parts of your life. So I have chosen 8 parts of my life that I connect it to. So I've got business, family, self-love. That's a new one. I actually only had 7 last year, and the year before I've added self-love as a new one. Spirituality, relationship, if you have a partnership or you want a partnership, friends, health and fitness, and home. These don't have to be your areas. Okay. So if you want to change them, take some away, that is absolutely fine. I've given you the template of these 8 areas, but these are mine. So you can use them, but you can also choose your own. Take what you want from what I'm giving you and make it your own. So like I said, we're going to just do the reflection part, this part 1, just ourselves. So every question I'm going to ask you, we're not going to reflect on it. Usually in these workshops, we sit and we talk about, like what came up for you and stuff like that. But I really want this whole bit to be really personal and not affected by what other people say. Okay, so the first reflection question is, which area of your life feels like it needs the biggest shift or transformation in 2026? And what do you want that shift to feel like? So I really just want you to take some time to think about that. You can use the 8 areas that I've given you. You can create your own, really delve into this question and think about, like we do with that life wheel kind of thing. Maybe if you have that to hand, you might not, and which is fine, but kind of maybe look back over the last year of like where you were, and how that has like changed for you over the year. But otherwise, just take a few minutes and reflect on that. So I'm just going to mute myself and then we'll come back in a few minutes. Okay. Next question. When you imagine yourself on the 31st of December 2026, looking back at the year, what's one feeling you want to say you lived in? I'll put some examples there for you. When you think about that previous word, so when you think about being proud, or when you think about being at peace, what kind of version of you would make you feel that way? So describe yourself in a few sentences. So I put some examples there because my word was proud. I want to feel proud of myself. I want to feel like I've been proud of myself throughout the year. So some examples I had was someone who put themselves first, someone who stopped settling for fine, someone who took risks. So write some sentences down about how you could embody that feeling or that version of you. Okay, so out of the qualities you've mentioned, the sentences you wrote down, which one feels like the deepest root cause shift that you need to make? The thing that if you changed it, everything else would naturally change too. So out of those sentences, to make yourself proud or to feel at peace, what's the one that you feel like embodies that the most? Should be quite instinctive, just like highlight the one you wrote down or rewrite it. Okay, so if whatever that sentence is that you wrote became your standard for 2026, what kind of energy or word would you need to embody to make this possible? So for mine, my one that I chose was someone who doesn't settle in any area of their life. So then how could you do that? So integrity could be the word, stay true to what you actually want. Courage, you walk away when something's not enough. Expansion, you choose the bigger version of yourself. So think about a word and potentially a sentence that kind of embodies that word based on your core shift. Okay, so if that word that you've chosen was your word of the year for 2026, what is one small everyday behavior you imagine doing differently because of it? So for mine, I've put courage. That's my word of the year. And it's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So that's like my mantra for the year in all areas of my life. So if your word was your word, what's one kind of mantra that you could say to yourself around that word? How was that? That's just to get to the word. And hopefully you've got to the word and it made sense. But I have put a list of words there. So if maybe like that word isn't connecting to you for some reason, even though you've done those reflection questions, there are, you know, you can pick up another word. That was just the way I got to my word of the year. But I'd love to hear how you found that, or like what your word was and what your mantra would be for the next year. I think that'd be fun to do. And then we're going to do part 2. So this is where we're going to apply that word to the 8 key areas of your life, or however many areas you have. You definitely don't need to use mine. So these are some questions to think about. I'm going to literally do the next 3 slides in one go and then give you 15 minutes to kind of like just do the whole thing. So the questions to think about are, how does my word influence this area? So rather than kind of like I have bullet points on each one. So for example, my word was action in 2024. So like in business, that was stick and commit to a launch plan. And in family, it was book something each month with the kids. So there's really like action steps. That's not what I'm asking for here. I'm asking how the word influences that particular area, because my word is courage, but that's going to look different in my health and fitness than it is in my business. So you really want to just think about that word specifically and how it will influence each area. What would it look like to honor my words? You don't need to answer every one of these questions for everything, by the way. It's more like which one kind of resonates with you the most. So what would it look like to honor my word in this area? Or, sorry, what's one shift or habit that connects to this word in that area? Okay, I'm going to come back to these questions. So don't worry if you haven't written them down. I just want to whiz through these 3 slides and then I'll put it back here for you. And then you can choose kind of the thing that makes most sense to you. Okay, then what we're going to do is, how can I have courage in my family in 2026? How can I sparkle in my business in 2026? How can I be intentional in my home in 2026? Obviously, you're not going to have different words. You're all going to have one word in that area. And so that's another way you can do it. Like, how can I do that? And that's where you put the bullet points down. So that's where you're really going, okay, in order for me to have courage in my business in 2026, I am going to request to go on stages, right? So my biggest fear is speaking in public. And so if I want to have courage in my business, that's what I need to do. I need to put myself out there and have people see me. So another way I could have courage is by launching my VA licensing that I've been put on off for God knows how long, you know? So that's your kind of bullet points. And I don't want you to think of these as goals, okay? Because obviously you can't, let's say we have 3 bullet points in each area. You can't achieve whatever 8 times 3 is, 24 things in the year, right? That's not going to be possible. And you're going to have different focuses. And that's what we do in Goal Getters. But it's just kind of things to focus on, or just have in the back of your mind written down of ways you could do this thing, the word, in the key area of your life. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to paste this prompt into the chat. And basically, you can put that into ChatGPT. And what you're going to say is, I'm creating a word of the year to help me in 8 key areas of my life. And then you list those areas. The word I have chosen is blah, blah, blah. Can you help me discover ways I can show up and embody courage, or, you know, whatever, in these 8 areas based on everything you know about me, and see what ChatGPT comes up with based on the conversations you've been having with it. Now, obviously, you don't just want to take their ideas, and this is why it's last, because I really think you need to connect to it yourself first. But having AI can be super helpful in helping you connect that word to each area of your life. So I'm going to paste this in the chat, and I'm just going to leave these questions up here. And then I just want you to spend the next 15 minutes choosing whichever one you want to do. Okay, it's 2 o'clock. I actually have extra time, so I'm happy to have a quick chat or just give you the space to carry on, it's fine. But just for those of you who need to go at 2, just wanted to honor your time and say goodbye, and really hope you found this useful. And obviously there's more work to do, like that probably wasn't enough time for you to write all of your kind of things down, but I hope you did get a chance to at least kind of find a way to embody that word in the kind of 8 areas of your life, or the areas that you've chosen to focus on in 2026, and hopefully that made that word feel really aligned to you and like really embodied, like, okay, I understand how this word will reflect what I'm going to do in 2026. So I hope you kind of took that away, at least if you haven't managed to actually get your bullet points down. And I just had that conversation with ChatGPT, like, how can I be courageous in these areas? And like the things it came up with were just like amazing. It's just like, it really does help. Like the last 2 videos I made on my YouTube channel about it, AI wasn't really a thing. So it wasn't really about that, but like it really can, especially like the conversations you've had with it throughout the year, it can be like so specific. Like some of the things it came up with, I was like, like that was a bit like close to home based on like conversations I've had with it, you know, in my business and where I have like kept myself small and things like that. So hopefully you'll find that really useful as well. I'm sorry about my voice. So I really hope you found that workshop useful, and you now have your word of the year and your mantra, and you've been able to apply and embody that word in all the different areas of your life. Don't forget that I have the free resource. If you haven't downloaded it already, please make sure you go ahead and download that. Please let me know in the comments what your word of the year is and what your mantra is, and which area of your life you're really looking forward to applying this to in 2026. Until next time, thanks so much for watching.